so kind, staring out into space, asking God to hear my case, trying to think of all things past. How long will my memory last? But purple angel, purple angel, purple angel, you're next to me.
Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to Alzheimer's Speaks Radio. I'm Lori LeBay, the host and founder of Alzheimer's Speaks. Before we get started today, we always get new listeners, so I just like to explain to people who the heck we are and why we're doing what we're doing. So bottom line, Alzheimer's Speaks is an advocacy-based company providing multiple platforms to shift our dementia care culture from crisis to comfort around the world. And some of our platforms are the website, the blog, the radio show, Dementia Chats, which is an interview platform that I use to raise the voice and the opinions of those with dementia. And we've got lots of other initiatives you can find on alzheimersspeaks.com if you just go to our initiatives and projects page. We at Alzheimer's Speaks believe that joining forces and sharing knowledge and just having these everyday conversations like we do here on Alzheimer's Speaks Radio, that we're going to be able to help remove the stigmas and raise awareness of all different types of dementias, and not only how it affects those diagnosed, but their family, their friends, their communities at large. At our core, we believe collaboration is the only way we're going to win this battle against dementia, and I know that's working thanks to each and every one of you. You see, your likes, your clicks, and your shares got us named the #1 influencer online, according to ShareCare and Dr. Oz. So we love that you are sharing our content. You know, most of us have big spheres of influences, and we just don't have a clue how many people are actually dealing with this disease. And I'm a strong believer that the more information we push out to the public and to the people that we know, the easier it's going to be for them to grab it when they're ready. Because like anything else, you can't force information and knowledge on anybody. They have to really be ready to grab it and run with it. So before we get into our conversation about the world coming together to rock against dementia, I just want to give a couple of shout outs. One is to Alzheimer's Arkansas. I'm going to be heading down there the end of this month. So on March 31st, I'll be speaking at their Hope Conference, and I'm really excited to be doing that. So if you're in Arkansas, please look me up. And I also just wanted to mention, if you're out in Washington, I'll be out there in June and be doing keynotes and some breakout sessions there as well for leading age. So put that on your calendar as well. Both of those are public. And the last thing I want to mention before I do our introductions is the cruise that we're doing. Alzheimer's Speaks has put together a fabulous team of people. And November 11th through the 18th of this year, we are going to be going to the Caribbean. And it's going to be a really exciting and fun time. I've got Cindy Lazinski, who is heading up a huge movement in Colorado. And then Harry Urban, Michael Ellenbogen, Lori Shearer, and Mary Reed, all living with dementia, will be there as well. And we'll be your educational team and leaders of the fun pack while we go on this 7-day cruise. So if you're looking for more information, again, all you have to do is go to our homepage at alzheimersspeaks.com, and you'll see it top, front, and center where you can get more information. Now, today I'm lucky to have Brian LeBlanc with us. Brian has been living with dementia, and he's going to be my co-host. And I'm going to let Brian just introduce himself and give you a little bit of background on himself.
Well, thanks, Lori. As she said, my name is Brian LeBlanc, and I was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's in 2014. Since that time, I decided to devote my life to advocacy, speaking on behalf of people with a dementia-related illness who no longer have a voice to speak. And so I've become a national and international dementia advocate. I also work with organizations such as the Alzheimer's Association, Dementia Action Alliance, Dementia Alliance International, locally with Covenant Alzheimer's Services. And I go throughout the country talking everything I know about Alzheimer's with my presentation called Alzheimer's Up Close and Personal. And one thing I'm very proud of is I get to train law enforcement officers in a training program called Crisis Intervention Team Training, where I speak to law enforcement about how to identify someone in public with a dementia-related illness that may appear to be something other than what that is.
Okay, great. Well, welcome, Brian. Appreciate you taking the time to be with us today. Our special guest is Wayne Mesker, and he has been the CEO of Worldstock Entertainment since 2008. He also founded Rock Against Dementia in March of 2014 at the Cleveland Film Festival when he was screening Alive Inside. And in 2016, he helped the Purple Angel Project and friends focus on Rock Against Dementia, which then became World Rocks Against Dementia. So it's really spread, and we're gonna chat about that a little bit more. So welcome today, Wayne.
Thank you for having me, Lori, and nice to meet you, Brian.
You as well, Wayne.
Okay, before we get started, Wayne, I always ask all my guests this question, and that is, have you been personally touched by Alzheimer's or dementia within your own, family or friend circle?
Absolutely. At the time that I saw Alive Inside, I didn't really know that much about Alzheimer's and dementia and didn't know that anybody in my family had been affected. But over the past year, I lost an aunt and close first cousin to Alzheimer's. So, yes, our family definitely has been touched.
Okay, wonderful. Why don't you tell people the original idea? Where did Rock Against Dementia come from?
Well, I had the opportunity to attend a session of rock and roll fantasy camp back in 2008, where I met some of my musicians that I had been a fan of since I grew up and became interested in rock and roll music. I was fortunate enough to meet Glenn Hughes, who just recently got inducted in 2016 into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with as a member of Deep Purple. And Glenn gave us an inspirational speech before his master vocals class, telling us, number one, that we were blessed to have musical talent. Not everybody's born with it. Number two, we were blessed that we might actually be able to use that talent to make a living and not have to get a real job. And he stressed the important fact that with that talent came an obligation, a sacred obligation, that he believed that we needed to use that talent to do something good in the world. So in September of 2008, I started a DBA that I called Worldstock Entertainment in honor of the Woodstock concert in 1969, and proved how music could unite generations and races and ethnicities and different belief ages. And I started reaching out to some of the people that I was a fan of and some people in the music industry, and made some amazing connections, including one of the perpetrators of that original Woodstock concert, Artie Kornfeld, who was the gentleman that was able to persuade Warner Brothers to make the movie and do the record album. Artie at the time was vice president of rock and roll for Catholic, and he's a dear personal friend of mine. Okay. So having those type of connections, when I saw Alive Inside, I felt that the best way that I could help move that mission forward would be to reach out to some of those people if they'd be interested in helping promote. And that's where the whole Rock Against Dementia started.
Okay. Well, that's wonderful. It's always nice to kind of know where it came from. Now, when you got involved with Alive Inside, first of all, why don't you tell people a little bit what it is, and then why you decided to get involved with it, and how that interlocks with what you're doing now with the RAD program, the World Against Dementia.
Okay. Well, Alive Inside was a documentary that took the Audience Award at Sundance in 2014 that focused on the effect that personalized music could have to help people with Alzheimer's and dementia. There were personalized playlists uploaded on the iPods with headphones and given to some of the people that were in the film, and the results were miraculous. When they started hearing music that they had a personal connection to, they came alive. They started remembering things. They started interacting. Some of them had been in an almost catatonic state. If you see the Henry, you understand that. The Henry clip went viral, and it's been seen by millions and millions of people all over the world. It's on YouTube. And when I saw that, it was just, to me, totally amazing and something that I really, really wanted to be involved with. And that's the whole idea of Rock Against Dementia. The Live Inside Foundation now has programs in 18 cities across the country, including one we started in my hometown of Parma, Ohio, where we are involving middle school and high school students to be the givers of that technology, create those interactive bonds with elders with Alzheimer's and dementia. And basically what we're doing is we've created an empathy revolution, and we are connecting the generations using music and transforming the lives of not only the elders themselves, but of the young people we work with, of the communities that they live in, and hopefully the world.
Okay. Thank you, Wayne. Brian, I'm just going to ask if you can maybe unplug your headset. We're getting a crackling, almost like rustling of paper, and we're not quite sure what that is. So we're just trying to, get rid of the options there of what the possibilities are.
Okay, just because I don't have any papers in front of me.
Okay.
I'm just sitting here.
Oh, Wyatt thinks that you might be scraping your shirt or something, your headset.
Hold on, okay, that's fine. Hold on.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get to my speaker. Okay, how's that?
Good. We'll see.
All right.
See how this works. Brian, now have you seen the film Alive and Social? That's the name of our of our station here. Just getting in another plug. Gosh, that is too funny. Alive Inside. Have you seen the film or any of the clips on YouTube?
I've seen some clips before, but I know that I've seen it. But as far as remembering any part of it, I don't have the recollection of it.
Sure. I've seen it. It's very, very powerful. And if anybody out there hasn't seen it, I would recommend you just Google it. And it's pretty amazing. It'll put a whole new light in terms of how you look at and value and appreciate music, not only in your lives, but in others there. I want to talk about, this World Rocks Against Dementia, Wayne. And, this is all over the world. I mean, it's really spread. Can you talk about what happened last year versus this year in terms of response to the program?
Well, last year was our first year annually. We originally started in 2015. I did an event here in Parma, and Norm and some of the people over in the UK did some events over there as well. And then in 2016, apparently we got picked up and got the attention of Alzheimer's Disease International, and Mark Wortman started helping us promote that through their organization. And we ended up having events in 31 cities and 15 countries last year. And this year is just doubled that. We have up to presently today I just got an email from Jane Moore that there's 74 events scheduled in approximately 12 countries, possibly more, and there's probably still going to be more added before the date gets there. We've extended the deadline to having events on March 25th because our Canadian friends are doing one on March 24th, so we gave them an extra week. But it's just totally mind-blowing, and I know that next year will be epic with all the responses that we've gotten so far and some of the connections I made here recently in Cleveland. I went to Mayor Jackson's State of the City address and made connections with his office and the organization Global Cleveland and some other heavy hitters in the Cleveland area that are now on board with us. And I'm imagining next year to be very, very big for us. So that's kind of where we stand at the moment.
Okay. Brian, are you guys doing anything down in Florida that you're involved with? I believe there's some stuff going on in Florida.
Not that I know of here I live in Pensacola.
Uh-huh.
So they might do, the majority of big things like that happen towards the southern part of Florida,
Mm-hmm.
down in the bigger areas, maybe like Orlando, Miami, and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
I myself haven't heard of anything in this area happening like that. It would be amazing if it would, because I think that music is such an integral part of not healing, but it brings so much to the individual that's living with the disease. And it's remarkable of the effects that it has on everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And Wayne, I'm sure you spoke about that, so I know you know exactly what I'm speaking of.
Now, Brian, you had a story that you had mentioned you wanted to share about kind of the power of music. Do you want to? I know you had a couple of them. Do you want to share one of those right now?
Sure. The 5th of February, I lost my ability to speak. I couldn't say anything, no words, nothing. So that lasted a while, about 2.5 weeks. While I was still without voice, my wife and I were headed down to Orlando, and the song Brown Eyed Girl came on by Van Morrison. And I used to be in a band, and ironically, yes, I have Alzheimer's, and the band that I used to belong to was called Mass Confusion. So we laugh about that. And so we're riding along, Brown Eyed Girl comes on. That was one of the songs that I had lead vocals on, and I always dedicated it to my wife. Well, I just broke out singing, and it amazed both my wife and myself, because I haven't been able to say anything but no, yes, little bitty words and so forth. I sang that song all the way through. When the song ended, we both had tears in our eyes, but then I still couldn't speak,
Mm-hmm.
but I sure could sing. And that's why I was trying to explain the power that music has, whether it's blaring at a concert or whether it is more of a background thing. Like in Disney World, that's where my wife brings me, because she says that's a place where I don't experience or exhibit any type of Alzheimer's symptoms. And it also has to do with the surroundings. But when you hear the music playing, it's a constant reminder, but it lives in your long-term memory and allows you to go back to a certain time where everything was normal. And I know it sounds strange to be surrounded by tens of thousands of people and feel at peace.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the magic that it works for me.
Wow, that's pretty powerful stuff. Pretty powerful
It
stuff.
really is. It really is.
Yeah, I did find in this list that Jane Moore sent of the the 12 countries and 74 events. I did find some information on something in Florida, and it was just one event. I want to say, Senior Smile with Jane Ogilvy
Okay.
in Central Florida, and Kevin Reynolds
Okay.
are doing something there. But in the U.S., we've got Ohio, Indiana, Pennsylvania, New York, Wisconsin, New Jersey, North Carolina, and there are several events in some of these locations, and and then just countries all over the place. So it's pretty exciting how it's expanded and how it has grabbed hold, throughout the world. From, let's see, it's got Ontario, British Columbia, Vancouver, Calgary. It's in Mexico City, in India, Australia, Nigeria, the Caribbean, Finland,
Wow.
Bangladesh, Nepal. It's a pretty impressive list. And then, there's just so much going on over in the UK. There's so many events I can't even list them all, but there's just tons of them over there, and so it's pretty exciting to see how this word of mouth concept and this collaboration, basically between Wayne's concept and then partnering with the Purple Angel with Norms McNamara and Jane Moore, how it's taken off, and it's a cool thing to see. How that awareness can come into play. Wayne, were you a little shocked at how big that it's gotten this year versus last year?
Oh, just a little, but I had anticipated it through the help of Alzheimer's Disease International, definitely growing bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that we had so many great events last year and just word of mouth from that spreading. We've been trying to spread the word. I'd like to give a shout out to our Live Inside people that are related to us, Fran Pinella in Asbury Park, and Anastasia Lynn, who's doing events in Newcastle and Elwood, Pennsylvania, and our friend Amanda Thurlow, who's doing the one in Hamilton, Ontario. I'd personally like to thank them. And Minna Dutton, who her and her husband Timo are doing the thing over in Finland, in Helsinki. We connected with them recently, but I'm looking for this thing to be very, very big next year. And Brian, that was really an interesting story, and I'll tell you why. You have to send me that story, because last week at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, there was a film being screened called Bang, which was the story of songwriter, producer, record company executive called by the name of Bert Burns, who co-produced Brown Eyed Girl with Van Morrison.
Oh, no
Van
kidding.
Morrison was on Bang Records. And I had an opportunity to meet his son and his daughter and the producer of that, co-producer of that film, and started talking to them about working with us as well. Brown Eyed Girl is one of my favorite songs as well, and I dedicate it to my significant other, Sandy, every time that I sing it. So, it's amazing that music just resonates something and reaches something deep inside of you that nothing else can.
Well, coming from I'm fourth generation of having Alzheimer's, and when my mother had it, we made her, at that time it was we had to make her CDs to play in a portable CD player, and we gave her some headphones, and whenever we would visit, we would put the CDs in, and then it was songs from Sound of Music, South Pacific, Fiddler on the Roof, all these musicals that she absolutely loved. And just the smile that came on her face, that even though she was, in the later stages of Alzheimer's, she still remembered the words. you could see her mouthing the words at first, then some sound would come out, and she sang in church for 45 years, and she had the most beautiful voice, and that voice started to come out, and it was the most amazing thing we had ever seen. And so growing up like that and growing up musical, I knew how much music meant to me. And when I was reaching dark days and just not doing so good, all I needed to do is put on my music, and it lifted me to a completely different place. And then the dark would go away. It didn't matter anymore because I was in the moment and doing something, a self-therapeutic moment that I gave to myself to remind me that I can still, shine. And that's, so I applaud you for doing this. I admire you for doing this, and I'm kind of in awe that you're doing something like this. You're an awesome individual.
So, Wayne, can you tell people what is the time frame to have kind of a musical event, and what does it need to look like, or can it look like whatever they want? I mean, what's the criteria to become involved?
Right. Very simple. It just has to be something music related. It could be a couple people getting together, having coffee or tea and listening to music and sharing that with us. It could be something at a facility. It could be anything from a major concert at a venue. Hopefully we'll have some of those next year. And it's just something, a musical gathering to celebrate what music can do and share friendship and fellowship and just kind of spread the word. It can be, as a matter of fact, I've got a gentleman that's working with us by the name of Roger Wilson, I believe, is going to stream a performance from his home. So it doesn't have to be anything major. It doesn't have to be anything huge. It can be on any level, and it doesn't even have to raise money. People that are doing these events as fundraisers are raising money for whatever cause, dementia-related cause, that they feel that they want to contribute to. It doesn't go to one huge fund like the Alzheimer's Association or anything does with their events. It can go anywhere that you believe it needs to go. So that's basically it. And we're still holding events all the way up till March 25th. And if you can't get in this year, definitely look forward to seeing you be involved next year.
Okay. Because I think a lot of times people think that it has to be this, huge fancy event and get really complicated and get really expensive. And there are some of those out there where they're having, kind of full day concerts with a lot of bands and musicians volunteering their time. But you're saying it can be something as simple as two people just listening to music and having an appreciation for it. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know the dates for next year at all, or?
I'm targeting, hopefully we can do a whole weekend on St. Patrick's Day weekend next year.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And didn't the date, I might be mistaken, but didn't the date coincide with like Norm's birthday or something? Isn't his birthday coming up?
I'm not sure how that panned out. For some reason, he suggested dates when we first started. Well, when I first started in 2014, it was in March, I believe, because we were originally going to have our first Rock Against Dementia concert here in Cleveland in September of that year, but the film came out in March, and that's when I got involved, so that might have had something to do with it. I'm not sure, but however it worked out, March became the month.
Okay. Well, and I'm just wondering because of the interest, and, it used to be like one day and then it went to 2 days and now it seems like it's spread. to longer than that. Would you guys ever consider having it for a couple of weeks or a month period, just for allowing a little more flexibility for people?
Absolutely. I'm open to any suggestions to spread the word more.
Okay. Just a thought, on that, from what I'm hearing there. I think it's a fabulous thing to do. I personally have not coordinated and gotten anything up and running just because I've got my plate full. But given that it could be something simpler, maybe that's something that I'll do next year with our memory cafe. I think that
Could I ask a quick question here?
Sure.
Wayne, are you when these people do these events, whether it's a big or a small event, do they video it and send you the video of it, or do we just do it as a way of saying, we're doing this for awareness and so forth?
It's all up to the individuals on what they want to do. I believe that we're going to be live streaming all, if not part of our event here in Cleveland. I've got people that are going to be doing videos. We've got people, you can do your own selfie type video on your cell phone if you want.
Right.
We encourage people to take pictures and send them to us. But however they want to do it is entirely up to them. As long as they're doing it, we ask that they please, if they're doing something, we ask that they please get in contact and at least let us know about it so we can help, spread the word about what they're doing. And that's kind of where we are. It's amazing. I just got an email that Christy Johnstone from the UK forwarded to me this morning from a film company over in Oxford called Reed Richards Productions, who had found out about what we're doing and wanted to get involved. And they have an artist that they're working with from Utah by the name of Boudwin, Boudwin, and he made a video, Taylor Swift's Red, that is about Alzheimer's and dementia awareness, and they are releasing that video on YouTube on the same day that they're doing World Rocks Against Dementia in the UK. So,
that's awesome.
Cool.
That was just another amazing thing that just happened this morning. So you just never know.
No,
the reason I asked that question was because I'm part of a trio that we go to senior care facilities here in Pensacola. And we'll go to different ones. We perform once a month usually, and we'll go to different facilities and perform. And if it falls on a holiday, of course we do. We theme it, according to what the holiday is and so forth, and sing songs regarding that. But we also make sure that we sing the songs and perform the songs that are back, in their era. And it's just amazing. You're up there singing and performing for them, but they have no idea the joy that we get from seeing them tapping their feet or clapping their hands. You can see them mouthing the words, that they still understand what the song is. They can still sing it. And it's just, it's one of the most amazing things that I have ever experienced in doing that. And I just think that next time we do it, I'm going to get someone to videotape it, and I'll probably send it to you, and I'll put it on YouTube and start recording our performances.
Certainly.
Well, that's neat. Yeah, we've got some video of my mom with a musician who came in, and then a friend recorded it, and you can just see her, even though she was kind of in her end stages, where she couldn't talk and she couldn't sing fully, where she totally recognized the song, and she was tapping to the beat and the smile on the face, and she was just thrilled to death. And I have those up on my YouTube channel, And if I'm having a bad day, I go watch one. It just perks me right up, because it's so incredible. Just that simple gift of seeing her peaceful and happy and joyful. Those are rare moments. And I think ones that we don't give enough appreciation to, and music can really help us get to those moments. Just, when you guys were talking about, what is it, Brown Eyed Lady song, and
Brown Eyed Girl.
The Brown Eyed Girl. Thank you. See, I'm horrible at titles, but I can have the tune going in my head. But yeah, how that just ignites, different thoughts and feelings, and music does that to us. It's a pretty special tool. I think that's underused, and we need to get the word out more and bring people together through music. It's very, very powerful. So, very cool. Now, Wayne, with the if somebody wanted to say, I still want to jump in and be part of this, where do they go? What do they do? How do they get in on this?
They just decide what they want to do and put it together and let us know. It's not really that complicated.
Okay, so what's the best method for them should they reach out to you, or should they reach out to Norms and Jane? What's the best route? It
depends on whether if they're over in the UK or anywhere else in the world besides the USA and Canada, they can reach out to Kirsty or Norms, and I'm sure you have their email addresses. And if they're in the USA or Canada, they can reach out to me.
Okay, so I would probably direct them to the Purple Angel page or Norms on Facebook. Norms or Jane, Norms McNamara or Jane Moore, I think is really kind of the one tracking through Facebook. And if you can't find them, just give me a holler. You'll be able to find, I don't want to give their emails out without permission prior to. Do you want to give people your email address or contact information?
My email address is wm@aliveinside.org.
Okay.
Hold on, I'll give you the address for Kirsty in a second here.
Okay.
I've been thinking of a question that I wanted to ask you, and as time went along, you're talking about all the things that you've done to get this off the ground, and it's grown larger than you've ever could have realized it to be. And I'm sure you hear stories from people about, like me, about how music has affected them in such a positive way. How does that make you feel that you were the one that kind of started this? How does it make you feel that you're making such a positive impact on people's lives?
It makes me feel very blessed. I've been in recovery on and off since 1983, and I turned my life over to my life and will over to my higher partner, God, as I choose to call him. And I believe that everything that I've been able to do hasn't been done by me, but it's been divinely directed by that higher partner. So as for my role in it, I feel that I'm just an instrument in the hands of a virtuoso.
But that's funny you called it an instrument when it's a musical a musical I can't think of the word right now, but event. I thought that was a good choice of words.
Yeah, the other thing, people can go to the purpleangel-global.com, And then there's a link there for World Rocks Against Dementia.
Okay, I have the email address that they can send to if they're in the UK or anywhere else in the world. It's wraduk@gmail.com.
Can you say that one more time?
WRADUK, all one word, @gmail.com.
Okay.
And if I could, I'd like to give a couple of shout outs here. I'd like to give one to our friend Allison McEntee up in New York City, who has brought us our first youth ambassadors, two twins by the name of Elias and, hold on a second, Elias and Zion Phoenix, who are piano prodigies and have appeared on Ellen several times. They're our youth ambassadors. The amazing thing about what the Alive Inside Foundation has done in these programs is we've started using young people and reconnecting the generations through music and exposing these young people not only to an opportunity to find deeper purpose and meaning in their lives, interacting with elders, but we've also exposed them to music that they've never heard before and started creating fans for some of these artists that we're working with. We're working with a lot of artists like Glenn Hughes and Rudy Sarzo and Greg Errico from Sly and the Family Stone, and the Lumineers are supporting us, and Train is supporting us. And some of this music these kids haven't heard, and we're creating a new generation of fans as well. And I'd also like to give a shout out to Cassandra and Brett Burns and Bob Sarles, who directed the movie Bang. And just look up Bert Burns. Bert was their father, who died at 38 years old. And as I said, was a singer, songwriter, producer, record executive. He had a hand in, he wrote Hang On Scoopy. He wrote Twist and Shout. He wrote Piece of My Heart. He wrote several other songs, worked with Solomon Burke and the Drifters and Wilson Pickett and the McCoys and Van Morrison and Neil Diamond. He co-produced songs like Brown Eyed Girl and Under the Boardwalk for the Drifters. And if you look him up, BERTBERNS on Wikipedia, you'll find out some of the stuff he did. And we're trying to spread the word about him as much as possible, because all that music that he wrote is music that we're using to touch people with. So,
wow, that's great. Those were some big name songs that he was involved with. Wow, that's pretty impressive stuff. But there's so much beautiful music and so many different genres out there. And again, there's no right or wrong way to go about being part of World Rocks Against Dementia. It's just about tapping into, what touches you and others around you, and leveraging that music to kind of make some magic happen. And I think it's wonderful. Personally, I would love to see this expand into like a 2-week period to allow for a little bit more flexibility if people did want to do stuff on a larger scale, which would be kind of cool. So we'll be looking forward to hearing more and what happens throughout this month. You've got another week to go with events, and then to if you can announce that date and let us know, we'll mention that here too and spread the word so people can put that out on their calendar to make sure that they get involved with that next year. I know that you wanted to talk a little bit more too about the Alive Inside Foundation. So why don't we take a moment and you can tell people a little bit about that, Wayne?
Okay, the Alive Inside Foundation, you saw the film Alive Inside. Mm-hmm. It focused on a number of issues, not just the issue of getting music to people in care facilities via iPods and headphones, and how that music affected people, but it also focused on a lot of other larger issues, like the fact that still today, the perception of aging needs to be changed. How we look at elders and how we look at aging itself, and the process that we have of pushing people aside and basically warehousing them once they get to a certain age or a certain point where they're not functional and not part of the workforce and not considered to be contributing anything to society. The overuse and abuse of antipsychotic medications to control behaviors in these care facilities or with people that have Alzheimer's and dementia, all the misconceptions about those diseases, the need to train people to be, more empathetic, the need for empathy training among professionals, among doctors, among the general public, among safety professionals. All those issues were kind of brought up and focused on at least a little bit in that film. And as a result of that, Michael Rosato Bennett, the director of the film, decided he needed to create the Alive Inside Foundation to address all those larger issues. And as a result of that, in 2015, the Alive Inside Foundation came into being. As a result of what I had been doing, Michael generously and graciously asked me to be part of the Alive Inside team and brought me on board as the advocacy director, which I've been since. We created the program, we created learning guides. We're in the process of finishing up Alive Inside Part 2, which basically documents a lot of the work that we've been doing with the young people and young volunteers in this program, and some of the ways that we've been addressing the rest of those issues that needed to be addressed. We've created our own technology now, which is our Alive Inside memory player. It's an all-in-one set of headphones with a built-in MP3 player and also an FM radio. It comes with an SD card that you can upload your personal playlist to. Those SD cards, and when I uploaded my own personal playlist, I uploaded 115 songs. I've got over 10 hours of music on that card. So they'll hold a lot, and they're very easy to use, very comfortable, user-friendly. You can load music directly off your computer, and it's just amazing how far we've come, and we've got a long ways yet to go. So.
Okay. Well, wonderful. Brian, anything else you want to add or ask a question about the foundation at all? Or
I just want to say that I think I'm going to become a very good friend of Wayne's. I just want, he sounds like a fascinating person. We have a lot of common interests, and there's no telling, what can be done in the future. But I just, I will repeat the remarks that the work you have done and the positiveness that you have brought to people, even though you're downplaying it, it's a tremendous thing that you have done and continue to do. And for those individuals who are in the later stages of their dementia illness, I will speak for them in saying thank you for doing that, because I'm sure that music in one way or another is playing some sort of part in the last part of their journey. And then for people like me, it's right there. It's what we do. It's what we use to turn the bad into something good, and we rely on that. So just thank you ever so much for doing what you do.
Thank you, Brian. I definitely appreciate that. I appreciate the kind words.
well, good. I want to thank both of you for partaking in the show today. Brian, you always add so much to the show, so I very much appreciate that. And Wayne, keep up the great work, and looking forward to hearing more about some of the others that are in the process of doing their events. And again, hearing when next year what the date is going to be, and and we'll try to help you promote that as well here. Again, you can go to the purpleangel-global.com, and then you can go /world-rocks-against-dementia. But I'm sure that there's a tab that'll get you there if you go to the main one there. So again, that is just purpleangel-global.com. And then Wayne, if you want to give your email address out one more time. And Chris,
my email is wm@aliveinside.org. They can find information about the USA and Canada events if they go check WRAD US and Canada on Facebook. We have a Facebook page, so they can find more information there.
Okay, wonderful. And Brian, do you want to give out any contact information for yourself?
Sure. If anybody wants to have any information from me, you can email me at TheBrianLeblanc@gmail.com. You can visit my blog at abit, that's ABIT, of BriansBrilliance.com. And then I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, Instagram, all over social media, so I'm not very hard to find.
Okay.
May I say one last thing?
Sure.
About the Cleveland International Film Festival and the amazing stuff that they do, I'd like to say that we are now a community partner with the Cleveland International Film Festival for their event this year. And the movie that we are a partner with is called Monster in the Mind. It's Jean Carper's story of her journey with Alzheimer's and dementia. And that film is being screened at the film festival on April 3rd and April 4th. And also one other shout out I'd like to give to another friend of ours that we just started working with, Dr. Connie Siskowski, who started the American Association of Caregiving Youth to raise awareness about the plight of these young people that are kind of oftentimes forced into the role of caregivers and all the opportunities that they have to give up to assume that role. So we're in the process of working with them, trying to offer some scholarships and opportunities to those kids as well.
Wonderful. Well, thank you both.
They're down in Florida.
Okay. Thank you both for being with us. Very much appreciate it. For those of you that are new to the Alive and Social Network, you might want to check out the podcast, What's for Dinner Tonight. It's nice and short, only 10, 15 minutes long. But Rachel Perrin, who's the culinary director for the Kowalski's Markets, and her sidekick, Alan Lee, they talk about all kinds of nutrition and favorite foods and, seasonal things that are coming up. And if you're just hungry and looking for something for dinner, they can probably help you out. You can also find their complete menus at Kowalskis.com. That's KOWALSKIS.com. I also want to, again, give a shout out to all of our listeners. You are more than welcome to join us on our dementia-friendly cruise November 11th through the 18th. It's going to be a Caribbean cruise with Holland America, and you can just go to alzheimerspeaks.com on the homepage. You can click on a one sheet you can just print out, or you can go to our initiatives and projects and learn more. You can see everything from cabins to pricing to all the ports that we're going to be on and the speakers who will be part of that. But please know, along with the education, there's going to be plenty of time to relax and get rejuvenated. For our past shows here on Alzheimer's Speaks Radio, know that everything is archived, and we've been doing this like 6 years now, so there's lots of shows you can go back and listen to. Last week, we talked about Moments Captured and Shared, which is a really cool video concept about appreciation. And we We talked about recently the Caring Kind movement in New York with Comfort Matters. So there's all kinds of things out there to take a peek at. What else on the blog? There's a really interesting article. Excuse me, I have a frog in my throat all of a sudden. Real interesting article from the Roseville Alzheimer's and Dementia Action Community Team. One of our partners is the Ramsey County Library, and they were actually on TV last night, but there's a nice article that was done about a program they have called Memory Minders, and it's a kit for care partners. And it's just pretty precious. And so a few of our libraries are doing that. We've got lots of inquiries for others. They've actually set up a separate category for Alzheimer's and dementia and caregiving, and are really stocking books and tools. And part of their tools are music. There's, I know they've got some things from Alzheimer's Music Connect and some others in there, along with some fantastic books for engagement and books just for information. Also on the blog, there was a video that was done. It was really a short film called Aging Matters, and one of our members from Dementia Chats, Paul Ann Gordon, was featured in that. So I would recommend that you check that out. There's also an article called Anniversaries Aren't Always Happy. What else do I want to share with you? Again, if you're in Arkansas or close by, come and see me on March 31st. I'll be down in Little Rock in that area. You can just go to the Alzheimer's Arkansas and find out about their Hope for the Future conference that they are doing. I would love to be able to talk with you personally. In the meantime, have a wonderful week, and keep in mind your memory chip, which you can always download from alzheimersspeaks.com. When you're focusing and dealing with somebody with dementia, remember it's relationship first, always. That is how we engage with anybody, and somebody with dementia is no different. But keep in mind, are they safe, are they happy, and are they pain-free? Have a great week. Talk soon.
Hi, this is Suzanne Newman, host of the Answers for Elders podcast and radio show. We are the North Star that guides you through the complicated journey of senior care with trusted experts in money, law, living solutions, and more. So join us on this station, your favorite podcast channel, or just go to AnswersForElders.com. Meet the Wayshowers who will help your journey go a lot easier.